Let's start off by addressing the opening YouTube comments. Here's where I have a problem with this anti-broker stance. It's held by carriers that do not put in the work to find their own freight. They instead take brokers' freight and then complain that they can't earn enough from the loads. So they undermine the job that brokers do. It's not an easy job. They're either too lazy to do it or they have tried in the past and they've failed at it, meaning that customers just wouldn't give them any freight. Shippers just won't work with them. So the big problem is we have these drivers opening up new authorities as owner-operators, and they're going into business with a plan to obtain freight solely from freight brokers. That's a problem, especially when you don't think that there's enough margin for brokers and carriers in today's market. If you choose to get your freight from brokers, stop bashing brokers. Now, brokers will always have a place in my opinion. I do think that this space that we find ourselves in, that has just grown like crazy over the years, is a result of carriers being lazy and unprofessional. And that all comes down to this business model of these new carriers getting in the industry just thinking it's so easy. I'm not going to have to really put in the work. I'll put in the miles, but I'm not going to put in the work to build up my contact list and actually have my own direct shippers to be able to go to. And getting shippers to work with you is incredibly difficult. The broker's job is not easy by any means, which is why many carriers give up on getting direct freight from shippers, sometimes just a few months after calling or weeks or less. But some are able to. It's a different skill set. It's sales ultimately, right? So the fact is 99% will quit because they're too lazy to keep putting in the calls. And that's a fact. And they're too lazy to make the calls, and so the broker space grows. Now, as an owner-operator, you can just call brokers and get your freight that's posted on load boards. It's incredibly easy to make those calls, and you don't need to be a salesperson. Some owner-operators do this. But for carriers that are just that next level lazy, enter the dispatcher. Let's be a little more realistic. That's better. So what does a dispatcher do? They call brokers to get freight. They do paperwork. Know what else they do? They call the drivers and they talk bad about the broker. They talk bad about the rate that they're able to get from the broker. They blame the broker for the current rates, and they just drive this wedge between the drivers and the brokers. This tension builds into what we have now. I know a few owner-ops that work directly with brokers, and not a single one of them has a negative view towards us. In my opinion, dispatchers create this animosity. All right, more coming soon. Hit the subscribe and bell to get notifications. If you want to jump on an episode and talk with me, email teamw@shipleague.com. You can see it right here. If you hate brokers and you think that we just steal your money and we're useless, please send that email. I'd love to have you on. For free freight broker training, go to ican'tremember.com. This is only part of the video. If you would like to see the full video, click here. If you would like to watch something else that I put together, click right over here. And don't forget to subscribe. Goodbye.